Well, good afternoon. For our guests, we welcome you to the campus of Lubbock Christian University. For our faculty, staff, and students who may be here, thank you for joining us for this very important occasion. You may be wondering why we are meeting inside this building for a groundbreaking. Well, we considered the weather this time of year in Lubbock, Texas, and today you have to wear sunscreen, tomorrow you have to wear mittens. And fortunately it's today, but we also know that the site out where this building is going to be, the ground's a bit uneven, and we wanted everybody to be safe, so we're having it in here, and so we're going to celebrate the initiation of this new occasion for us inside this building. We have some really exciting news to tell you, and we got 4 folks who are going to do that for you. David Pruett, president of the LCU Foundation, will speak to us. Tim Perrin, president of Lubbock Christian University. Alicia Anger, dean of the Covenant School of Nursing. And Cindy Ford, co-chair of the LCU Department of Nursing and the director for their partnership program. First will be David Pruett.
I'm going to try to be very brief because I know having multiple people speak to you about the same topic, sometimes we can overlap a bit, so I don't want to say too much. But I want to start by saying that many people were involved in making this happen, a lot of people. And so as we're standing up here basking in the enjoyment of having this, there's a lot of people that could be up here saying some great things about their involvement in what happened here. Several years ago, we started this endeavor of developing a partnership with Covenant Health Systems, and then started working on how that would work and where it would wind up being as far as developing some space that could be benefit of both Covenant and LCU. And I think one day we had a conversation, or I did, in W.R. Collier's office, and he's seated there in the 3rd row. And I want to tell you, he is a friend of LCU, he's a friend of this community, he's a friend, a personal friend of mine now. At the time, he didn't know me and probably wondered why I was occupying his time a lot. But, you know, he is very much, I found, to be a friend of nursing education and has been that for many years. And so he was a natural person to advise me on some things. And I do recall the day that he and I went over to Margaret Talkington's house. And we had a visit with her. And she also said, told me at that discussion, the first thing she said to me was, "Lubbock doesn't need a new building." And so I said, well, in this case, you're probably right 99% of the time, but on this one, they do need a building, and I want to tell you why. And as we talked about it, I don't want to go on and on about it, but there was a point in our visits, and first of all, I discovered that Margaret Talkington was a very fascinating and wonderful person to get to know. And just having that opportunity to meet her was very special to me. I was a bit intimidated by the fact that she was a very knowledgeable person. So I felt like I needed to read up on fashion and the economy and a number of things every time I was going to go, because I was afraid she was going to ask me some question that I didn't know the answer to and look rather dumb. But the last time I talked to her on the phone before she fell ill, she made the comment to me. She said, "You know, I think this will be my last hurrah," when she was talking about giving money for this building. And so I can't think of a better tribute to Margaret Talkington and the Talkington Foundation for having her name on this building. We're looking forward to that serving a lot of nursing students throughout West Texas and New Mexico and other areas in the future as they go through their educational programs. I wanted to also thank the Covenant team, Richard Parks and Kelly McDaniel, Karen Baggerly, and Alicia, who's up here on the stage. They have worked a lot of hours in making this feasible as well. And I also wanted to mention the Covenant, or the Talkington Foundation, and Norton Baker is on the front row. He and visits with him, he's just been such a great help in making this all come together too, and the rest of the Talkington Foundation, and I think they will be introduced later on in our program. But wanted to thank also the team at Prosperity Bank. You guys, those of you that are here today, you guys have been so very helpful. And I appreciate all the advice, the efforts that went into helping us in making all this work. There was times where the Covenant Board, there was some help and direction in trying to pull all this together that came from individuals in this community. And that's been very helpful to us. I think that I have just two other things, so if you're wondering, when does this guy quit? Wanted to thank MWM Architects. They have been with us since it was a dream, and when you commit resources and efforts into building something that isn't, you don't know if it's going to be built, and I know at times there was probably questions, when is this going to happen? Is it going to happen? And Jeff, it's going to happen. So we're just thankful for Stephen Falk is back there standing up. Just thank you for all the efforts, the drawings, the redrawings, the more than you can imagine efforts that they put into it. A lot of it was done with faith that we were going to build a building because they did it without accepting any money. And I want to thank Randy Andrews with Graco. He has volunteered to be project manager for building the building, and I'll go on record, his fee was $1. And so Lee Lewis is going to be the builder of it. Lee Lewis, his team came together and basically said, we'll build this building and we'll do it at the amount of money that you have available and cut down, obviously, this won't be a deal-making thing for them. But it's an opportunity to pull together teams that have said, I'll help. And it's wonderful in this community. That's what makes Lubbock great. And I want to thank you all for coming out here and celebrating with us, and I'll get off the stage.
I want to add my welcome to Warren's and to David. So thankful that you're here today to celebrate this wonderful, historic day at Lubbock Christian University. I've been anticipating the opportunity to celebrate this in community in this way, and so it's always wonderful when that comes together. Thank you for coming and joining the celebration. This is a party. We are especially grateful to the Talkington Foundation. I'm so glad that several of them are able to be with us today. David already mentioned Norton Baker, president of the foundation board. We're thankful for his presence. We're also thankful for Kitty Harris-Wilkes, who's here with us today, Alan Henry, for his role on the board, also with us. And then grants administrator Casey Stevens is here as well. So thank you all. Can we show our appreciation to the Talkington Foundation for this amazing gift? This is a transformative gift for LCU, but also I think for this region. It will profoundly impact nursing education in West Texas and beyond. I want to say a word of thanks to the LCU Foundation. This has always been an LCU Foundation project, an initiative of our foundation. We're so thankful for its good work and for the leadership of David Pruett. You've already heard from David and have a sense of the complexity of this project as it involved multiple entities and institutions, and he has masterfully shepherded this from beginning to end. I'm so thankful to David for our foundation, the LCU Foundation Board, some of whom are here today, for their support and efforts to make this possible. We could not have done it without the foundation. And to Dr. Ken Jones, I'm so glad that the LCU Chancellor, Ken Jones, is here today. You're going to get to hear from him a little bit later, but this is one of those times where I get to stand in front of you and talk and get the benefit of the labor of others. And Dr. Jones is a key part of this story, his leadership, his vision for what might be possible. So I want to acknowledge Ken Jones. Can we show appreciation for the Foundation Board and for Dr. Jones and his leadership? I really think this is a very significant moment for our nursing program. It's just over 20 years old. Started in 1992, offering a bachelor's degree in nursing. And this is a natural next step, I think, in our nursing program's growth and development. Added a master's degree in 2005. We entered into our partnership with the Covenant School of Nursing in 2011. In the summer of 2014, we'll add a family nurse practitioner track to our master's program. And this facility, which will allow us to strengthen our partnership with Covenant School of Nursing, will allow great opportunities for the continued growth and development of our program and for nursing education in this region. I think it's a very, very exciting moment. So thankful that Dean Alicia Anger from the Covenant School is here, and others who are here representing Covenant. We're thankful for their partnership, which I think is a wonderful model for higher education in today, as we look for ways to more efficiently and effectively prepare our students for futures of service and purpose. So we're thankful for Covenant, and it's my great privilege now to turn the podium over to Alicia for her comments. Alicia Anger.
Good afternoon. It is so exciting to see so many people here who want to share this moment with us. I see friends, I see family, I see colleagues, students, community members. Thank you all so much for being here and sharing this moment with us. You know, the relationship between Covenant School of Nursing and Lubbock Christian University Department of Nursing has always been in existence, at least 20 years since LCU opened. It was the Texas legislative mandate in 2007 that led us on an adventure that would only strengthen that relationship. The mandate was that all diploma programs in the state of Texas must ensure that their graduates must be able to continue on to receive a degree from an institution of higher education. Well, it was the work done after that, the several years after that, that led us to an official partnership with Lubbock Christian University. We knew that the partnership between both of the nursing programs would bring opportunities that alone may not have existed. And one of the most exciting opportunities has been the creation of this building. Not only will this new facility continue to strengthen this relationship, but it will provide an environment for our students in both programs to grow and to blossom. And in turn, the more education our students have, the healthier our community will be. We realize that none of this could have happened without the multitude of people who were involved. And I know there have been many thanks that have already been given, but I cannot leave this podium without saying my own personal thank you to everyone that was involved in this process. First, I'd like to personally thank Karen Baggerly and the Covenant Health administrative team for their support over the years. I would also like to thank Lubbock Christian University administrative staff and the foundation for their support and their work. The faculty and staff at both nursing programs, you are fabulous. Your hard work, your patience, and your persistence. Thank you for everything you do. MWM, again, thank you all for your help and your guidance the past 2.5, almost 3 years. And all of the many individuals and departments at both institutions, IT, facilities, security, the list goes on and on and on. We could not be here without the details and input that you have given us. The Margaret Talkington Foundation, I want to personally thank you for your generous donation, because today, what was once a dream, you have made a reality for us. So thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Cindy Ford. I am a member of a team of directors that operate in the nursing department, and I would like to acknowledge my team, please. Dr. Beverly Byers is here, Dr. Joanne Long, and Dr. Linnell Harrison. They're a wonderful group of ladies to work with, and I'm so thankful to have that opportunity. I would also like to take a few moments to thank people. It's hard not to sit down, Dean Anger, isn't it, and not thank David Pruett, who first told our dream of a partnership in a nursing building to the Talkington Foundation. He took our hopes and dreams and told them to them. And look what's happening today. The planning team has been Dr. Brian Starr, Dr. Carl Mahan, and Randall DeMint on our planning meetings on the Lubbock Christian side. Dean Anger, 2 years ago, we stood here signing the partnership papers, and look where we are today on this wonderful day. I told her we will remember this day for the rest of our lives, how exciting it is. And the team at MWM, you've been awesome to work with. Thank you. The next thing I would like to do is tell you a few things about the building. It's going to be located about at 21st and Frankfurt, right over here behind the Lowe's grocery store. You will be able to access the building from Frankfurt Avenue and from the street called Elmwood that runs directly behind the Green Lawn Church of Christ. There will be 2 large new parking lots created, one behind Green Lawn and one to the west of the building towards Frankfurt. There's going to be a beautiful 500-seat auditorium that will serve the mid-range needs of the university and for Covenant if they had that need as well. 500 seats with the first 100 or the first 3 rows will have pop-up desk in the event that we need a large classroom. So it could be used for that as well. We have speaker events. We can see graduation occurring there. It will be greatly used. Next, we will have offices for faculty and staff of both of the schools. And when people look at the plan and they see the number of Covenant offices, they're like, wow, they have a lot of faculty. And this is because of their accreditation requirements that when they take students to the clinical setting, they must have a 1-to-10 ratio. So they do have a large faculty. But I'll tell you, when I talk to prospective students, I tell them this is a strength because many schools of nursing use a roaming or rounding instructor. So if a procedure comes up that a student could do, they have to page their instructor to please come do that with them, and they may miss that opportunity. So the day of graduation, the Covenant student is so strong clinically for that reason and many others, but I wanted to share that with you. All of these plans that we have provide for growth. So the Lubbock Christian offices and the faculty offices for Covenant School of Nursing have room for growth. Additionally, there are classrooms, 8 for Covenant and 5 for Lubbock Christian. And because of the large amount of computer testing that Covenant needs to do, they will have their 2 50-seat computer labs utilized for testing. The LCU students also have a computer lab, but we do not require a lab that large. There will be a beautiful common area where students can bring their lunch, warm them in a microwave. We have refrigerators planned, vending machines, and even plans for a small coffee shop that you could grab and go with sandwiches and salads. It's going to be a wonderful area for the students when they have a break. The last thing I want to tell you would be that if we were in that building today, with our combined student populations, there would be 525 students in the building. There would be up to 60 faculty and staff, and we have plans to grow. And finally, on behalf of our director team, I would like to express our deepest appreciation to the Talkington Foundation Board. By your decision to help fund this building, you have invested in the future of healthcare delivery in our region and beyond. And 2 points I want to make about that. Current nursing research supports that when you have a BSN prepared nurse at the bedside, the outcomes for the patient are better. They're improved. Additionally, what we see in our department is the BSN education energizes them and incentivizes them to go on for higher education in nursing. You may have heard about the 2010 Institute of Medicine report, and it said, nurses should achieve higher levels of education and training through improved educational system that promotes a seamless academic progression. And this program and this building is going to house exactly that. So thank you so much to each one of you on the Talkington Foundation Board. Your decision to fund this is a true investment in the future of healthcare delivery in our region and beyond, and we are so honored and blessed to be a part of it. Thank you.
At this point, we have two people that we absolutely must hear from. You can now appreciate what good hands these programs are in with the leadership of Dean Anger and Dr. Ford and her leadership team. We are blessed with strong leadership in both programs. But before we conclude, we want to hear from Norton Baker on behalf of the Talkington Foundation. I'm grateful that he's agreed to share some remarks. And then Dr. Ken Jones, who will come and share a couple of remarks and lead a prayer of blessing and thanksgiving, an appropriate way to conclude the formal part of the program. So I'll ask Norton Baker if you go ahead and come forward, and Dr. Jones, if you'll follow Norton, I would appreciate that very much. Norton Baker.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for the board to be here today. There's 5 people on the Talkington Foundation board. I'd like to introduce them at this time. Kitty Harris Wilkes, it's on the front line here. Alan Henry, and then 2 people that couldn't be here. One of them is Myrna Werner. Myrna's ill. She's an old-time friend of Margaret's, and Margaret had her on the board. And then Charlotte Park, who worked for the Talkingtons for maybe 30-something years. She's on the board. She had to take her brother to the doctor today, and so she's sorry that she can't be here. Margaret named people to the board who she thought would make gifts that she would have made if she was living. One of the things that we've looked at to see what Margaret would have done was to see what gifts she made during her lifetime. She did start making gifts for this project during her lifetime, and the board is pleased to continue that with this full $10 million contribution to the foundation. Nothing needs to be said additionally about what's going to be done here, as I think everybody's covered it, but we're appreciative of what they're doing. It looks like a project that was made in heaven, and we're glad that we could be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Norton.
Well, I know what all of you are thinking. You're thinking and hoping that this old guy doesn't talk too long, right? I tell you, I'm really glad to be a part of this. I want to thank President Perrin for asking me to make a few comments. I'm grateful for so many things today, and I know that all the people who are here today are here in a spirit of celebration and gratitude, but I'm grateful to Lee Lewis back here in the back. Lee will be the builder of the building, as you've already heard, but for 20 years I've been going to Lee Lewis, and I've been saying, now Lee, I need this much building, and I've only got this much money. and he's been working some kind of magic and making things happen on this campus for a long time. And I'm glad my good friend Jeff Whitaker is here, and the opportunity to have Jeff Whitaker and MWM do the architectural work. I'm really grateful for a person that hasn't been named. One of the previous administrators, CEOs of Covenant Health Systems was Melinda Clark. And I remember being in a meeting with Melinda Clark, and we were talking about bringing their program and our program together. And every dream has to have someone to start it. Someone has to spark the idea. And Melinda Clark said to me one day, now wouldn't it be nice if we had these 2 entities in one building? And she looked at me and she said, do you have space in your campus for a building like that? And I thought, wow, we've got a lot of space on our campus for a building like that. And then all of a sudden, David Pruett shows up at my office, and by invitation, but he shows up, and I realized very quickly what a wonderful person he would be to have employed at Lubbock Christian. And I said, David, I want you to spend 60% of your time on this nursing partnership and this nursing building. Maybe the dream can come true. And so he went to W.R. Collier, and they went to Mrs. Talkington, and isn't it all that wonderful? And the wonderful partnership we have with Covenant. I remember in the mid-'90s that a lady showed up at my office named Sister Mary Kathleen. She's no longer alive, but Sister Mary Kathleen walked into my office and she said, "We want to be a partner with Lubbock Christian. Our mission, your mission, they are so similar. We want to be partners." And look how the partnership just keeps on growing. And I'm so grateful to those who Mrs. Talkington put in charge of her funds for seeing the value of a program that I think will enhance health care in this city and health care in this region, but I also have a larger belief than that and dream than that. I think what you'll see with these two institutions coming together in one facility will be a model of nursing education that will spread throughout this state and beyond this state across this nation, because I don't think any place will have a better model for nursing education than what we are developing right here. And so I'm so grateful for all that. Well, part of our culture at Lubbock Christian is to pray. We are a group who believes that things don't happen by chance. Now, by the way, I find it interesting that Norton Baker is the chair of this Talkington Foundation. There are some heroes in the history of Lubbock Christian University. One name that no one here would probably recognize, but names on this building, is Jack Cardwell down in El Paso. A name that everybody will recognize would be Rip Griffin, one of the heroes. But there is a name in our history that may be greater than all. And he was such a dear friend of mine. His name was Gene Hancock. Interesting thing was, Norton Baker was Gene Hancock's personal attorney. And Norton, don't you think that Mr. Hancock would look at this moment with great favor? Yeah. And we are a people who believe that nothing happens by accident. We are a people on this campus who believe in providence. And so I believe that Melinda Clark's little statement that inspired a dream was not an accident. I believe that David Pruett's arrival was not an accident. I believe that his friendship with W.R. Collier was not an accident. I think their meeting with Mrs. Talkington was not an accident. And I think today we are being so very, very blessed because that's what's happened to Lubbock Christian over and over again. We believe in a God who has blessed us all the way. So I want to ask you to pray with me as I thank Him for all of us. Our dear Father, we are so grateful to you. We're grateful to you because of your love and how you love people who are so fallible and so weak as we. And we are grateful to you, Father, that you look over us and watch over us and protect us. And most of all this day, I'm grateful that you bless us. I'm grateful that you blessed us, all these people who had such a part and such a great work. And Father, I pray that you'll bless the students who enter this program and the students that will be part of this program in years way beyond my time and the time of others in this room. And I pray, Father, that they'll make a difference in the lives of people, that these students will go out and serve people the way you wanted us to serve and the way you showed us to serve through your Son, Jesus. What a great and powerful God you are. And with all our might, we say thank you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Now you're going to really understand what we mean when we talk about a ceremonial groundbreaking. We have shovels, we just don't have dirt. But we do want to, we'll take some more pictures afterwards, but we want to take a moment here and take a picture at least holding a shovel to embody the reality of a groundbreaking on the site. So we're making the best of our circumstances here. Bear with us. I would like to, can I get the members of the Talkington Foundation Board who are here to come back and join me? And David, would you come back up? And could I get Cindy and Alicia to come back up? We'll start here. We'll have some other pictures that we'll take as well. But we're going to do this up here on the platform.